So I said before I was looking for work, and I had an interview finally for a cleaning job, part-time. It's a janitor. And I don't know if I'll get the job or not. It's fairly close by. The schedule would work. It would require some discipline in my time management, but I could do it. And I also made some tri-fold flyers for my side gig for what it's worth. Now I'd prefer to have the cleaning job because it's steady money, though that's intellectual assessment. Emotionally, I don't want the cleaning job. I don't want to work for someone else. I don't. I have to tell the truth. I don't like working for other people, but the reality is I have to. Now, I could be fine. I'll learn their procedures. I'm reliable. I work hard. Whatever, 4-hour shifts, 4-hour shifts. Not that big a deal. However, if I were the hiring manager and I looked at my resume, I'd be like, well, this guy worked 13 years working his way up in a company, had a nice impressive sounding title, and then quit to work night shift at a retail store. Didn't even do that for a year. Then worked a year as a pharmacy tech online. And then now works as a caretaker for a handicapped person. If I were them, be like, this guy's spiraling down. This guy's not stable. Who would abandon a stable career with a title like that for crap? Still there? All right. See if I can mount this thing back up. Hopefully that's not a cop. I don't want to swerve. Alright, looks like I'm okay. Cool. So, I would look at my job history and say I'm not stable. And speaking from my own personal experience, many persons I've known who've done these caretaker jobs had a lot going on. I'll just say this in a polite way. They had a lot going on, either health-wise or mental health-wise, or just it's the best they could really do. They get a nice kind of low-demand caretaker job. And that's not with any personal judgment of them. But someone could look at my work history and then this is where I went through and this is what I ended up as. Like, it looks like I'm not stable. And any past cleaning job I had was temporary on the weekends. So, I wouldn't hire me. Be honest, okay? If I had to look with a critical eye at my application, even though I know personally that I'm reliable and I can do the job, and when I learn your procedures, I'll follow them and I'll do a real good job. I know I would do a good job, but if I were them, I wouldn't think that I was a good candidate. I would want somebody who had maybe multiple years of cleaning experience, not someone who just took it to meet a financial need. So I wouldn't be surprised if I don't get it. And yeah, there's some full-time overnight opportunities. I'm saving that for last because I don't think I'll get enough sleep if I do that, because I have to take care of my client too. So that's where I'm at. And so what next? Well, why am I telling you this story? Well, this is a channel about a loser who thinks about things. Right now, Raymond can be a loser and he makes $60,000 a year. I don't know why I can't, right? Positive thinking, right? Can-do attitude. I'm a loser. I've been my whole life a loser. I should be making $60,000 a year too. Something, don't talk about yourself that way. I'm like, hey, it's true. By the measurement of this world, I'm a loser. By the measurement of this world, I'm a guy who, like I said before, I didn't ask how to make the world work for me. I asked why it worked the way it did. I questioned everything. Instead of saying, how can I fit in? I questioned the premise. Even when I didn't have the means, the life experience, or knowledge to interrogate reality, I still asked why. And as a person who asked why, oh, here comes the fire department. Where'd they go? Okay. As a person who asked why, I didn't say, well, gee, how do I make this legal system and the institutions of it and the economic institute, how do I make them work for me? How do I fit into this? How do I become a cog in the machine? Which most people do, right? They don't ask why until they get older. They don't ask the spiritual questions until they get much older. I'm basically a guy who probably, if if I didn't think religion was bullshit, I would have become a priest or something. At least the priests or ministers, these people, they at least get like a modest salary. Their needs are provided for. They want for nothing, and they get to do the thing they're called to do. But I'm not one of them, and I'm not complaining. Anyone thinks I'm complaining? Big old fuck you. Okay, I'm not. I don't even know how well I'm going to do doing odd jobs this year. Other people have jumped on the small job bandwagon since I got it rolling, and they're probably doing much better than me. They're probably charging more money, doing the same kind of work, and they're going to blow me away because, unfortunately, I'm not a chatty kind of person. I just do. I have competencies. I lean on my skill. Different from a buddy of mine who's extremely charismatic and good looking. He went to a party with no HVAC experience, and he ended up meeting a guy who ran an HVAC company who said, "You want a job?" He said, "Yeah." No HVAC experience, no refrigeration license, nothing. And now he works in HVAC. I can't sell karaoke, even though I run a competent show. I can't sell because I'm just not that kind of person. Is what it is. I'm not complaining. I'm never more eloquent than when I'm speaking about the things I know I can't do. Then I'm very, very well spoken. I can speak at length about the things I can't do. It is what it is. Am I willing to suspend my sense of right and wrong to circumvent the free will and talk people into saying yes, to evade their ability to make a decision? The Keno Casino people were ripping on Raymond, and they were talking about dating, and you don't let them say no to you. You got to get around. If you leave an option for someone to say no, they're going to say no. I'm like, yeah, well, that's I understand. That's one of the skills in salesmanship is circumventing someone's ability to say no. By the time you got their money in hand, it's too late, right? Or whatever. By the time or whatever the case is dating, by the time she you're in bed with her and she's regretting it, well, you already got laid. So whatever. I don't think that's good. I think that's bad. But I understand the world runs on it. The world runs on emotional manipulation and non-rational decision making. I mean, I was watching college basketball Sunday night, and I was watching these two teams go at it. And these young men, I can't think that they're thinking very deeply about the game. It's all instinct. They know the rules of the game, but the rest is just twitch instinct. Just the way they move about. And I never understood how, side note, why basketball players can push and shove each other and not get fouled for it, but apparently that's a thing. They're on pure instinct. And they play the game, and they do it well. And they're probably all very socially apt because they're not thinking about, free will or anything. They're just like input, output, let's go. And I'm sure all these guys, or most of them at least, if they're not ugly, are probably, getting their jive on with, whichever, women they want to in their college or whatever. And good for them. I'm not knocking them for it. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Just an update on my being a total fucking loser. But this loser's going to keep trying. Because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Keep on trying. Be positive. You know, you miss 100% of every swing you don't take. Woohoo! There you go. Positive attitude. Can do. All right, goodbye.